But as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night, we will not vanish without a fight, we're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
It's not true. It doesn't matter what's true. It matters the story they tell when you're gone.
I keep on pushing down my gypsy road.
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to this fine Monday. Don't know where Bob is. Hopefully he's all right. I think he'll be coming. But hey, what they say is the show must go on, right? Even if it's just my ugly face. Hold on. I'll tell you guys what. Hold on. Here we go. This is more like it, right? So I just sent Bob a message. He probably forgot, or he's eating. Who knows what Bob's doing? Or he might got eaten by Bigfoot. But for now, I got the voodoo doll of Bob. I got the voodoo doll. So this might have to be so. Hey, voodoo doll. Hey, what's up, Bob? How's your weekend? It was the weekend. Well, that's fantastic. Well, guys, Bob comes on, he'll come on. So first of all, today, guys, we're gonna talk about something I actually never even realized that we all know there's triangles. There's names different triangles, but I never even known there was a dragon's triangle. I don't know if any of you guys in the chat have ever heard of a dragon's triangle. So actually, has anybody in the chat, has anybody ever heard of the dragon's triangle? I think What the Flock TV has, because I know he mentioned earlier of a nice topic. So I never realized. I know, the Bermuda Triangle. Of course, we did a show on the Alaska Triangle. But there's actually a dragon's triangle, too. So it's kind of cool, I think. I think it's kind of cool. I want to say hello to Judy Wheeler. Judy Wheeler's here. Chocolate and Cheese is here. We got Danny here. Juan Torres. I think Bob's hanging out with Otterman. Yeah, he probably is. He probably is. Yes, Danny, yes, Japanese version of the Bermuda Triangle. Yes, that's actually in the list of the facts that we're gonna look up. So, like I said, it's all cool. Oh wow, Flock TV talked about it a few weeks back. Wow. Hey, I'm just stealing your stuff, buddy. I'm stealing your stuff. But hey, if anybody in the chat that wants to jump on and talk about the Dragon Triangle, I'm gonna put the invite in the chat because, like I said, I don't know where Bob is, so I don't know if he's coming on. I actually sent him a message. Let's see if he messaged me back. Let's see. Let's go take a look. Okay, got the voodoo doll. Is Bob gonna text me back? Are you jumping on? So he actually no mark. So hopefully he's alive. Hopefully he's doing good. When you're in the UK, it's not like it's like one city over. You got the whole ocean over and all that. So, but like I said, hey guys, the show must go on, even if it's just my ugly little face. I'm gonna put the invite on StreamYard. So if any of you guys want to jump on, want to co-host, that'd be awesome. There's StreamYard. If even if you don't know a lot about Dragon's Triangle, because I don't, I'm gonna look at the 25 facts right here. You can jump on and we can shoot the shit. Okay. Now, first of all, I do want to let you guys know, just in case you didn't know, I dropped a new music video on my Horror Talk channel. And show you guys real quick, and we'll get into the triangle. Motley Crue, Kickstart My Heart, Crank Style. I actually really enjoyed this one. I really enjoy making this one because it's about Crank Start Your Heart. I mean, the beginning scene of King Kong getting his heart pumped, coming back to life to help kick some ass, help Godzilla. Crank needs that energy to keep going. Jolt needs that energy, keep going. Upgrade, getting a chip inside, get his heart going. So this was actually a very fun video. If you haven't seen it, it's on my Horror Talk channel. And, I hopefully you guys will take a look at it. And also, over the weekend, I actually, let me show you guys here. I actually dropped my breaking news video that I'm going to be doing twice a week. I'm going to be doing breaking news, and it's going to get better and better. And I understand that there was some audio issues. I did it upstairs, but going forward, it'll get better and better. I'm trying to do some cool little side effects, special effects with it. So the breaking news will get better and better. And basically what the breaking news is just basically a 30-minute video or less. I take 3 UFOs, take a couple Bigfoots, paranormals, kind of get all the hot stories going out, getting it out there to you guys, getting all at once, trying to combine the UFO, Bigfoot, paranormal community, into one. And at the end of the video, I always have like one Mandela effect. Is it a Mandela effect or is it false memory? It's kind of fun little thing. So got 505 views already on it. So actually did pretty well, but it's going to get better and better and better. There are already some things I'm already going to change on it to add a little to it. So if you want, I'll come on a few minutes. Yeah, come off What the Flock TV, since you actually did a video on the breaking news on Dragon's facts. That'd be awesome. That'd be very awesome. So yeah, jump on. We'll have a good time. Let me share the screen. Go back to the 25 facts. So basically, the definition is, contrary to what you know, the Bermuda Triangle isn't the only locations that has been deemed as dangerous by both sailors and pilots. Okay, so let me get rid of this. So basically, contrary to what you know, the Bermuda Triangle isn't the only location that's been deemed. Okay, we already read that part. The Dragon's Triangle is a stretch of the sea just off the coast of Japan that has collected a myriad of stories, myths, simply mini legends throughout the years. Given the area turbulent history when it comes to disappearances and strange phenomena, it can often be challenging to separate the myth from the fact. Amidst various studies done until the 1950s, scientists gather plenty of information, but have no definite reason for why this reason is particular. See so much action. Fortunately, we do have scientific proof of why certain anomalies happen, which is helpful in figuring out on how to avoid the future tragedies. There may be a direct cause that is nailed down for why so many have set off and met their demise before returning to, but we do have a hint of what goes on in the mysterious waters. In the articles, we'll explore everything from sea monsters to underwater volcanoes and everything in between. Many have speculated, but only have theories have only held as proof positive. It's easy to imagine how many stories have been told about this, watery graveyard, and it's our job to separate the legitimate from the once you better off saying for a fictional novel. Well, I mean, oh, there we go. I got him on. Everybody, just in case a lot of the newer people that are actually watching us now, you might not know What the Flock TV. He's got a fantastic channel. He talks everything. I mean, you could imagine he's going to talk about it. So he's got a great channel, and let me find his link, and I'll put his link in the description. So you actually did a show on this a few weeks ago, huh?
Well, yeah, sort of. I was doing a video on the Vatican, and as you know, people will be aware the Vatican looks like a key, from above. And one thing led to another, and he ended up looking at Japan. And what happens is in Japan they have, like burial mounds. They actually look like keyholes. So that's, I've known about the triangle for a long time because I've been interested in the Bermuda Triangle since a little kid, and obviously I looked into the Dragon's Triangle. So it's just an interesting part of the Earth because it's really, we don't know what the Earth looks like. For instance, so you got the Dragon's Triangle, you got the Bermuda Triangle, and then obviously from my research, you got the Keys, the two Janis Islands. So you got like 4 points, but it's all part of. Have you ever heard of the vile vortices?
No, I agree. I mean, like you said, growing up, Bermuda Triangle was the one triangle that's everybody knows about. I mean, we all know the famous stories, and then you start researching. There's so many other areas on this planet. I mean, of course, they name things triangles because triangle, the pyramid, the power. I mean, it makes sense why they try to shape everything as a triangle. But then you start learning. We did a show on Alaska Triangle, and then now you got the Dragon's Triangle, and it's all neat. It's all. And the thing is, I like about these kind of stories is these stories are coming from sailors. They're coming from people out in the sea. And these are blue-collar, hard workers and all that. They're not just – maybe some of are. And I'm not saying they're not all making up stories, but there's some truth to their stories. I'm not saying there's true monsters in these waters. I'm not saying none of that. But with all these stories that come from all these sailors, there's got to be some truth to some of it.
Yep, like I was saying before, do you reckon, because it changes, you know what I mean? You could say one number today and someone else researches tomorrow and it's a different number. There's things called vile vortices. They're like energy points, like the ley lines, and they reckon there's 10, I think there's 10 to 12 the last time I looked. Some say there's 14, and that's a part of the grid of this, the grid of the Earth. And there are two locations that's like got a lot of these vile vortices running through them. So it's an interesting part of the world. Obviously, Japan, you always associate with dragons and different things, because of the rising sun. But that's just on the opposite side. It's just, I've always been interested in it because remember a few weeks ago when I mentioned about the Sequest.
Yes.
In a chat. I've always been in since them days because that's the early 90s and 94, and they were submersed vehicles going down like the Mariana Trench, like, and other deep places in this realm. So I've always wanted to know about that because we always talk about space and there's not enough being talked about what's underneath the oceans, and that's what's always fascinating about it.
Well, let's see with this 25 little known facts. Let's see if we can read some of these and break it down. Now, it says here, number 25, the triangle is actually part of several dangerous seafarer locations. Okay, you see there's a line. There's the Bermuda Triangle. You got the color dots right there. And it says here, if you look at the globe and trace an imaginary line across the center, there is where you'll find, I think I just lost my magical green screen. Fell off. I guess the magical triangle says, no green screen today. I'm coming off. Wow. That's that's cool. That's cool. I don't know how that happened, but oh well, the show must go on. Let me see here. Where to find the Bermuda Triangle and the Dragon's Triangle, though both sits across the world from each other, follow the same horizontal line that splits both hemispheres. On sits in the Atlantic and one in the Pacific. But if you follow that line, you'll eventually end up in the middle of both dangerous zones. So basically, like picture here, there's a straight line to both.
That looks like the what they call the death line as well. I'm just roughly guessing, or it's quite close to it. I think it'd be nice if they told you what parallel, because I can't remember off by heart. I know it's the 33rd parallel. I don't know if that's on it, because obviously in the flat map like that, I haven't got a clue. I'm just trying to look at the countries there. But yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Because there's things, people have been sailing for far longer than they've been flying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, to go across the ocean. Yeah. That's the earliest taxi you could say. Yeah. People, boats, horses. So it's very interesting. And let's see here. Number 24. It's within very close range of Tokyo. So there's a picture here. It's a very close range of Tokyo. Doesn't really. It's just a picture of the map. Let me see here. It's surprising to note that the Dragon's Triangle is only roughly 100 kilometers away from Tokyo, which of course a major city. The closest landmass to it is myriad, which is a small island off the coast of Japan. However, since the exact beginning and the end of the triangle has never really been established. There's no knowing for sure where it sits. Some claims that the triangle is within close proximity to Iwo Jima as well, which would explain why volcanic activity is at the root of many stories. So they're saying part of it could be blamed from volcanoes.
It's like the ring, isn't it? You can see from that map, you can see like the submersed lands and rings, a bit like the Ring of Fire of sorts.
Yeah. 33. Where's Bob? Actually, guys, I don't know where Bob is. I seriously don't know. Don't know where he is.
I'm a failed substitute for Bob until he comes.
No. Hey, this show is all about having fun, people coming on and whatever. This is, Yo Connor, what's up, guys? Let's see here. Let's go down to here. What's this? Let me go. Oh, wrong tab. Number 23. It goes by the Pacific Bermuda Triangle as well. So basically, that's the one closer to Florida. As you read earlier, both this triangle and the one found in the Atlantic goes hand in hand as far as casualties and mysterious disappearance. While the Dragon's Triangle may not have as much popularity as one duly noted on the opposite side of the world, it's no less daunting or dangerous. In fact, the Devil's Sea has a history just as long, if not longer, than its Atlantic counterparts, making it just much part of nature's biggest mysteries. Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, we live in America. I'm sorry, you don't live in America. You live in the United Kingdom. But living in America, Bermuda's Triangle is right off your land. I mean, it's right there in Florida. So, of course, that's going to be more popular than in Japan. But I'm sure in Japan, the Dragon's Triangle is probably more popular than the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, demographics, isn't it? And you obviously, it seems to get more popularized. The Bermuda Triangle. It appeared in more films, more TV, and people automatically know that, don't they? I mean, like I said before, I was just crazy because obviously I watched the Sea Quest, and then obviously remember the other film that you was talking about. Oh, what's it called now? The Abyss. That's one of my favorite films. So I've always been interested in what goes under the sea, and obviously it's just crazy because obviously the different types of even animal life, what's actually happening in the water, because obviously people got to understand is sometimes it's the magnetism of like whatever type of mineral is underneath the ground there. It could be magnetite or anything, could actually affect the water around it. They say sometimes it's what type of gas is it? I can't remember now, but there's a type of gas that affects the water and makes it actually lighter or heavier, and when ships go through it, they start to sink. I can't remember straight away what it was.
Hollywood made Bermuda popular. That's true. I mean, if you take what Danny was saying, this is part of the Pacific, had a lot of fighter UFO sightings and in World War II. Yeah, I mean, there's famous stories of bombers disappearing through the Bermuda. And then, of course, Hollywood, you guys remember the movie Closest Encounters of the Third Kind. In the first part of the movie, they had it where those missing bombers, those missing ships appeared. So, yes, Hollywood has taken Bermuda Triangle and took it to a whole new level. So you're right, chocolate and cheese. I mean, even though Hollywood of taking it, it doesn't mean what goes on there hasn't really happened. Where's this here? And Vortex is on the realm. Yep. Yeah. Let me see here. Let's see here what number 22 says here. Now, number 22 says its rough waters have earned the term vortex. So I hate when they put advertisements everywhere. This is not only the vortex in the world. There are, in fact, 12 in total that were given these titles by the Scottish.
Yeah, that's the vortices.
Yeah, named Ivan T. Sanderson. He noted that those vortex happen to fall in areas with electromagnetic anomalies, where much higher and happen in much more frequent rates than the rest of the world. He also able to draw patterns between these sites, connected with somewhat of a diamond grid. Each of these locations has an influx of mixed water temperatures that cause their electromagnetic phenomena. Let me ask you. Do you believe there's really electrical issues in these areas that's actually causing like planes to fly over to lose some of its power, or the compass don't work when you're going into the triangle? Do you believe that's a possibility?
It's more than it's more than a possibility. We're electric.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are.
The Mother Earth, motherboard. There's people that believe it's a motherboard, circuit board type of realm. And you think about it, whatever water's happening, you look at the Earth's crust, it moves, because obviously you have the cracks, the craters, the fault lines. So, it is producing a friction type of thing. And you have the salt water, as well as there's not much fresh water out in the sea. It's mainly salt water mixing with the fresh water that's coming out from from inland. So obviously that will create some electric phenomenon. And whatever you believe in, for instance, people believe that there's waters above, from the Bible, and it's split and we live in the void. Well, if you put pressure on something like that, it creates like an electromagnetic field. Everything gives off an electromagnetic field. So, what I mean?
He wrote, pilots talk about an electric mist.
Yeah.
And then there are accounts that someone flew in a weird cloud and saved 2 hours travel. Oh yeah, there's been a lot of stories that people have gained hours, and there's been stories that people have lost hours also going through these triangles. Yeah, that's a common. Oh, what's that?
That's an EMF detector. So if you go near the computer, it should go off or go high live on air.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have my crystal there. So well, actually, can you see? I have a crystal that stops the effects. If I move that, you should hear it go off. There you go. You see?
Yeah, and that's what they've used on a lot of paranormal on paranormal searches. They have those trying to detect energy.
Yeah. Everything gives off. You give off. You know what I mean? You'll call it toroidal field and all that. So you would assume the Earth would give off energy as well, considering there's a lot of crystal and minerals flying about.
Went to Mount Aso, a live volcano in Kusha, Japan. Beautiful, literally awesome. Oh, that's cool. You got to see yourself a live volcano. You know, hopefully I don't get. Hopefully I don't see the volcano in our backyard go off. What is this? Use the electric magnetic force.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everything is energy. I mean, yeah,
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Force is basically based on energy. So
When Star Wars say the Force, you know, it makes you think, doesn't it? Is the same equivalent in this place?
here we go. Notable maritime events date all the way back to 1274 AD. That's a beautiful picture. And like you said, Japan, you know, they're into the dragons. You see dragons. Japan was to be invaded several times during the 1200s. And two of those attempts by Kublai Khan and Genghis Khan were foiled via none other than Dragon's Triangle. Due to awful conditions, the sea claimed the lives of 40,000 crew members. Yeah. They also lost their ships in the process, and both were due to simply unnatural typhoons in the area. Any further attempts were halted after realization that these seas were in fact merciless those who travel them. So, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're gonna be a skeptic, you know, just for fun, like I'm not trying to be a skeptic on purpose, but even in the 1200s, I mean, do you really? I mean, of course, I'm not from the 1200s, but do you really know the patterns of the ocean that well to know if this was unnormal or not? I'm just saying, I know there's stories, but I mean, by now, we live where we have a lot of, evidence or times past videos now of a lot of, last 200 years of people written down documentations of the seas. But in the 1200s, do they really have that kind of a great documentation to know it could have been just a regular current from the ocean?
Well, that's why it depends who you ask, isn't it, really? Because you could ask someone who's into Tartary or different things, and they'll say this. You can ask someone who's into Mandela, someone that's into flat Earth, who you're going to speak to, they will always say, yeah, well, there's maps from, X amount of centuries. True. So they've obviously traveled, but they've lied about history. So there's no right or wrong answer, because you could say, no, there's not. And then someone said, well, such and such and such said there is. I mean, the compass was only invented in 1250, something around about that area, that time frame. You know what I mean? But the time frame has been lied to. So who knows if hundreds of years ago is not thousands? We just don't know.
Yes. You said it perfectly, man. Like you said, there's some, like you said, if you go to a flat Earth community, they have different maps. Like you said, every different communities will have their own version of it all. So that makes perfectly good sense. It's like the Matrix. We are batteries. Well, yeah, we are batteries. I mean, we're energy. I mean, if you guys watch my music video that I made over the weekend, Kickstart My Heart, for the guy to stay alive, he electrocutes himself. Electricity. I mean, we're all about the power, electricity. There's stories that when somebody just passed away, the person next to them has felt them go through them. Did they feel them, or did they feel the energy leaving the body? I mean, there's energy, guys, is everything. Locke wrote, in Japan, they have story of water dragons, not only the flying dragons. There's water dragons, flying dragons. There's stories that dragons don't even fly. I mean, there's so many different versions of dragons. But I can see. I mean, why can't a sea creature from the ocean technically be a dragon? I mean, we really don't know.
No.
We can believe there's a creature in the water, but we don't know exactly what that creature is.
You could literally say a lot of things. I mean, a lot of it, you could even say the people are lying, which is a possibility because obviously we wasn't there. You can say people actually were drunk, high on some sort of narcotic, or they actually seen what they saw. Because we wasn't there, we can't say nay or yay for any of them. So you just have to treat it all as, information and think about, well, some of the weird things that you've actually seen in this place. Could it be? I mean, I did a video today, it's gone out, and this guy, this psychologist, talks about people in antiquity had a different form of consciousness than we have today. They called it the bicameral mind. And he was saying that the right side of the brain was acted like the god, and it was basically, not like schizophrenic or sorts. It was sending them voices, and it actually made them think that God was talking to them constantly. So if they were sending them hallucinations like that, how history reflects, we just don't know what they saw. Did they actually see it? Was it a lie? Is it just someone writing it down? Who knows? You just have to enjoy for what it is. It's information, and it's very interesting. I mean, dragons are cool. You know what I mean? So
let me see. He wrote loads of pirates in Japan. Yeah, there's a lot of pirates and cool films set museum with ninjas and 50s animatronics of lizard monsters. Okay. Biddle Venom. There's something in the water. Wasn't there a strange sound heard underwater? They couldn't explain that sound. Never heard it before. Oh, I know what he's talking about. Yeah, there was that certain sound that they recorded underwater, and they could never determine exactly where that sound was coming from. So I've heard of that story. You heard of that story yourself?
Yeah. I've heard about the one as well where they've heard it in the air as well. It's like a grinding sound. It's weird, like metallic, like like a metal warping or something. I saw it on a video a while ago.
Wasn't there some town in some world? I don't know what part of the country, some world that there's actually a sound that drives these people crazy. They can't sleep at night, and they don't know where this sound's coming from. I can't remember.
That was on. Yeah, I saw that on the news. That was in. I think that might have been the video that they were talking about.
So many. Here we go. Number 20. The story of Ko Mura. Number 5. Guys, I'm probably pronouncing these words wrong. It doesn't really matter. So it doesn't matter at all. The Ko Mura was the infamous research ship sent out by Japan to explore the legends about the unexplained body of water. During their investigation, one of their missions was to unearth what had happened to the previous ships that Japan has recently lost in the Triangle. In 1952, they set off to sea, but unfortunately never returned. The crew consists of 31 members, and sadly, none of them were ever found. Even though the shipwreck was discovered shortly after, it's unclear what brought the ship down in the first place. Well, I mean, first of all through history, there's ships that have gone down. I mean, we don't necessarily exactly know why each ship has gone down. So, I mean, that could be anything. Could be paranormal, could be creature, could be just nature taking its course. I mean, guys, you guys remember there's a true story of a movie called The Perfect Storm?
Yeah.
Where they don't know exactly how that shit went down. They made those part up with George Clooney and them. They just know that fishermen went out, they went further out they're supposed to, and the ships got taken down. So it's hard to try to say exactly on why it went down. But we just know that the ship did go down.
But there's parts of the earth that get hardly any traffic. I mean, I know it's not realistic, but you've only got to. I'll just show you an example while we're here.
Yeah.
Is if you just go on your flight app, you can you can track the flights and things like that. I mean, you've only got to see it. So you go to a flight app, any flight app, and you don't have to announce most of them, but if you just go and look at some of the parts of the earth, you'll see there's hardly any traffic. You see at the bottom, that's the Pacific, not far from Japan,
Yeah.
So there's hardly any traffic in certain parts of the ocean. So it just gets you to think, if there's no traffic, what the hell's going on? And we've had lost planes before, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That famous one from Australia went missing. So There's nothing down there. What is out there? And if you think about how a wave would move, if there's, if there's tidal waves happening out there, you don't know how big the waves will actually get anywhere on the earth. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I mean, you've seen all them things like the crab fishers and different things, and there's waves like getting 50 feet. That's an experience of a lifetime.
The first explorers on Easter Island said they were giants. I could believe that. I mean, guys, I remember at one time on this planet, we had large dinosaurs. I mean, and they went away. I mean, who knows what's out there? I mean, giants, isn't that technically what the whole story about Bigfoot is? You kind of feel that they're out there, but you haven't really got to see one. So for giants, I believe that 100%. Now, here's a good one. Military experiments with frequencies. Just hope they don't use the brown note. Yeah. I mean, military. I mean, guys, there's a good movie.
You know what the brown note is, don't you?
What's that? They don't use the brown note. What's the brown note?
It's a note that is supposedly able to make you shit yourself.
Hey, that's a good. Well, man, that's hey, if you're gonna attack a country, right? If you turn that on and they're all shitting themselves, you got a free shot.
Yeah.
So I could see that, but I mean, there's even been a movie called The Core, which I actually like, where the Core movie was about where the government of America used frequency to cause earthquakes to another country. And then, of course, in the movie, it caused our in the middle of the earth to stop spinning, and of course, somebody has to go in the earth to get it. But what I'm saying is there's been movies about military creating sound, frequency, electricity to cause issues in other countries. So, yeah, you never know what the military is doing. I mean, it's all about who's a better country, right? I guess that's why we spend all these billions of dollars for these experiments on instead of trying to blow each other up. Why can't we all just be friends? I don't get it, but who cares? There's no flights from South America to South Africa.
Yeah, they go up and then down.
Wow, honestly, I've never realized that. I'll be honest with you. I never really study on flight patterns on where, what part of the country they fly to. But so South America to South Africa. So you're saying they have to fly up and they fly down. Why? Is there supposed to be a reason why we can't fly across?
They blame like fuel consumption, but they're actually using more fuel to fly to the northern hemisphere to come back down to the southern hemisphere.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I never heard that before. That's awesome. I learn something every day. Yeah.
So there's you got like South America there, and you can see no planes going through the middle.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I mean, you can click on the routes and everything, and you can see where they're going. I mean, I'll see planes going up to go to America to come back down.
Huh.
It's just a free app. You should try it. Sometimes, I mean, I can click on it and just...
I'm going to do that because that's interesting. It makes you really think on why can't we fly across? I mean, what I would think that would save...
See the screen there, if it can zoom in a bit more.
Oh, shoot.
You can see I've clicked on the flight path, and you can see where it's coming from and where it's going to. You see? So you can see it's going all the way across, so that's where you can trace it back and see where it's coming from, the planes. You see? So it's an interesting app. You'll have your equivalent, whether this will work for you. This is just called Flight Radar. It's free. And you can just see where planes are going and coming from and what actually model the planes are. And it's all free. You can pay for the advanced one, but there's no reason. I can show you.
Uh-oh. We found the slacker.
No, you said 9 o'clock on Mondays.
No, 11.
No, I swear you said it was at 7 o'clock. Well, over here it's 7 on Wednesday and 7 on Friday, but 9 o'clock on Mondays. That's what I had. Okay, my bad. I didn't know. I was like, Paul knows it's a gorgeous day in England. He can verify.
Is it actually Is it actually finally nice over there? It's not raining?
No, it was nice today.
Yeah. So I was out walking a dog. I just walked in the door. I don't bring technology with me. So I walk in the door and I looked over and I was like, "What is he calling me early for? We got another 2 hours to go." And I said, "Oh shit, Paul, thank you, dude, for coming on, man."
That's all right.
Covering my.
There's always got to be someone with a beard on the other side.
You guys keep talking. I'll get caught up. I'm making a cup of coffee. I'm just gonna put it on mute, man. Dude, I appreciate it. Black Sheep Researcher, everybody, go check out his channel. He covered my ass.
No, Bob. The channel's is the name is changed to What the Flock TV. Come on.
I did not know What the Flock TV. Well, then everybody What the Flock TV.
Down. I've been YouTubed.
Oh yeah, everybody. It's getting bad out there. The truth is getting. Well, you know what? You know you're getting close when you get shut down. So.
Well, let's see what this one is. Number 19. The triangle is conveniently located in the Devil's Sea. The Devil's Sea, okay. With all the stories the Dragon's Triangle has collected over the years, it doesn't come as a surprise that it's located in the promising name Devil's Sea. Yeah. This area is no stranger to horrific storms and unexplained weather, as well as natural water phenomena that seamlessly come out of nowhere, which Paul was talking about like earlier, like, you don't, waves and stuff. We don't really see how big these waves are. This such rogue waves and even maelstroms, naturally occurring whirlpools. They have been reported by sailors. This would explain why so many have set out good weather and suddenly disappear without a trace. I mean, you mentioned that earlier that, we're not like staring at these seas 24 hours to really see all the ocean patterns. And we all know weather can just hit instantly. Yeah. I mean, it's...
Well, Duff, as well as over there, you've got one of the biggest trenches in the world called the Mariana Trench. It's one of the deepest places on Earth. You know what I mean? So not far from this Devil's Triangle, you've got the deepest, crevasse or crack or whatever you want to call it. It's thousands, it's miles deep. You know what I mean? So it is a place very deep, very old. You know what I mean? So it's very, very interesting.
It really is. Let me see here. Now, here we go. Now we're getting to the volcano stuff for this. Number 18, volcanic activity has been noted there. In going back to the point about Iwo Jima, the question of volcanic activity has been poised in regards to the strange events that happen in the Devil's Sea. Underwater volcanoes, also known as subsea volcanoes, are capable of spewing lava out above the ocean surface. They can also be responsible for a significant increase in seismic activity, which would wreak havoc on the water above. This could potentially cause the rogue waves that some have reported that could attribute to strange legends told about the dragons. Okay. Volcanoes. You can't predict when a volcano is going to erupt, right? There's other, I know we all think most volcanoes on the planet, on the surface, but we don't really realize sometimes that volcanoes are just as active in the ocean as they are on land.
Yeah. People don't realize the tallest mountain in the world is underwater.
Yeah.
They automatically say Everest, and they don't realize that, there's one underwater. I can't remember its name now, but that's the deepest mountain in the world underwater. So we just don't know what is under there, because obviously they say, because we can't take their word for it, they say they've explored more of space and the moon than they have underneath it. It is really ridiculous. I remember reading the book once. I can't remember his name. Bob, something. It might have been Bob. Someone, the Pale Horse. It was. I talked to you about a while ago, and that guy was in Army intelligence, naval intelligence, and he was out on a mission, and they saw, how do you pronounce it? Underwater flying objects. Submersible things, and he states that they seen him flying out of the water. And I'm positive that was near Japan. I can't remember. It's in the book. I've not read it for a long time. So we just don't know what these things are. If it's true, like Abyss, you know what I mean?
I want to welcome Flat Rock Booger is here. Hobbs is joining us. Welcome, Hobbs, and Chasing the Truth, Sean G. Like I said, Chasing the Truth, Sean G has a great channel too that talks about everything. That he has an open channel where his show on his YouTube channel is just taking phone calls in, which is cool, and he allows people to come in and talk about whatever they want. Let me share this to guys. Let me show you guys Paul's channel real quick. That what I was talking about is you can look at his list of channel of his videos. I mean, he talks about everything: the Convergo Mind, The Secret, the Doorway Effect, Circuit Board Cities, Monetary Cemeteries, The Dead Oh My. I mean, the Vatican, the Eternal City, the Beast, Japan, Johnny.
The Vatican.
He's got so much different kind of topics, which I love because it's not the same stuff on every video. So if you guys haven't checked out his channel yet, I'll put his link in his channel. It's good stuff. And one thing about Paul, he does fantastic research information, shooting it all together. And Paul's like us. He's not forcing you to say you have to believe in this, but he takes what he learns, that he studies, and he puts all in a cool video, which is my opinion, guys, thumbs up. Welcome, King. Paul's the best researcher. Yeah.
He follows the crumbs. Like he'll go to one, he'll jump to another, then he'll jump to another, and then you're like me, you're like, holy shit, this can't be real. And then
I just don't get it how people get so offensive when you look at different topics. Don't you want to look at everything? I do, you know what I mean?
Everything. I look at the stupidest stuff. I mean, right now I don't want to go into, but I'm researching Aaron, which is the brother of Moses, and I'm finding a lot of his sinisterness in throughout the Torah and the Bible, and there's a lot of evidence for a lot of magic stuff going on. And I'm like, hey, but anyway, I don't want to. But kind of like how you look up certain things that are just unusual, and then you follow that trail. You're like, there's more weird things that follow after that one's weird. That one's weird. You look at the history, then you balance the history. You go, this is weird. This is weird. And they all correlate. Like you turned me on to the Janice thing, and ever since then, I can't shut that off. I can't shut that thing off.
I'm not saying nothing on that subject.
You watch samurai movies, and at the beginning of the samurai movie, they got a coin that shows up, and what do you got, Janice? I'm like, why? Why you gotta do this to us? Where you gotta put it right in front of our face? Even my favorite samurai movies have it now. Now I can see it everywhere. But it goes right back to the Gnostics, the Gnostic philosophy, where God had a wife, and actually he mirrored himself as female, but he mirrored himself, and it was like, in the Gnostic picture, they have two faces, one of God this way, one of God that way, and he mirrored himself. He actually married himself. Anyway, we don't want to go down that route. You'll get lost. I'll get lost. Sorry, everybody.
Eric's like, shut up.
No.
Let's go for hours with that one.
No,
Sorry,
No. We'll go number 17. 17. Currents may have something to do with ships in the Pearl. Let's see here. Constant influx of both hot and cold water potentially explains certain phenomena that have been witnessed in the triangle. Biologist Ivan Sanderson was the first to hypothesize that these changes in the sea temperatures could lead to the traumatic disturbances. This would essentially limit a ship's travel, and if you were to become caught between these two currents, their compasses and other navigation equipment could become compromised. While there is no definite proof of this, it's likely that cause for many disappearances that were pretty explained. Well, I mean, we talked earlier in the show about, we talk about like electricity that can mess up your compass. And if you also have a volcano erupting, if I'm thinking about this, if you have a volcano erupting under the sea and all that lava, I mean, that could explain some of the temperature change so dramatically. I mean, I would think, I don't know if lava is going to change a water temperature in the ocean that dramatic, but Paul, if you, with your studies you've seen, if a volcano erupts in the ocean, is there some kind of a research saying how much a water temperature can be changed from it?
What I've seen on it is it's a weird phenomenon. Is volcanoes, because there's some people who we talk about actually can go up to a volcano erupting and you can stand quite close. I mean, you think you won't be able to. There's a weird phenomenon with it where it doesn't change overall the temperature. Maybe, right near it, it'll change the water and it changes the significance because the gases, it's the actual gases that get released when it erupts. Because you've got plant life, not plant life, you coral life or life that can only exist near a volcano because the water the water mix with oxygen and like methane and different things is so differently. It's like a primordial ooze, you know what I mean? It's like a different life where volcanoes erupt. You know what I mean? I basically call them like radiators, letting off steam. You know what I mean? The pressure of the realm makes this erupt, and it just.
And it says here it have a minimal effect on water temperature. So basically, even if a lava explodes, it's the gases that are going to do it, but it has minimal effect on water temperature.
I mean, there was a place in Africa. People were just dropping dead by the hundreds, tens to hundreds. No one knew what it was, and it was actually the ocean or lake that was releasing a gas. And the gas was like invisible. Obviously, it's invisible, and the gas would come out of this little ocean bit, and just move around, and people were just dropping dead because they couldn't see it. There's some crazy shit. The world's a death trap.
They couldn't figure it out because the gas was gone, and you said it right, and everybody was dead. And all the natives thought there was some kind of magic or something happened, and these people were all dead. And found out, it was the gas from the volcano because they're in a caldera. They were living next to a caldera, mountain, but caldera, and the damn gas, like you said, was heavy. It was heavier than the air, and it come down like a fog. It just kind of moved in like a normal morning mist fog, and nobody even ran in, didn't think nothing of it, can't smell it, and just died. They suffocated, no oxygen.
Well, Alan wrote, I bet the hollow earth theory has something to do with this. Okay. Mm-hmm. The hollow earth theory, if that's a player. If it's a player, I guess it possibly could.
Remember now, scientists, and this is new to me, this is new, maybe Paul might have heard it. If not, it's new for him. They were doing a thing about gravity now. Now, this isn't the same subject, gravity. And they had noticed that with our new technology, these radar, pounding, whatever we can find, we can find artifacts now with all these new devices we use for archaeology, everything, all these radar. They were noticing that gravity waves in certain areas were worse than the other. And they're like, well, why is there heavy gravity here but not over there?
Yeah.
Why
I think there's one in Michigan, in the lakes in Michigan, there's one place.
Yeah.
So that could be another reason why these places have. It's like people don't realize it under the sea. It's still a bit of oxygen. The fish need oxygen to breathe. When the oxygen goes away, you see all the fish die. You know what I mean? So you don't know what's underneath the water in these areas.
Yeah. Well, what the science's narrative is, the narrative. You guys don't want to take it with a grain of salt, whatever. It's the different chemical composition of the soil. Basically, it's the metals. And because the earth, whatever you want to call it, is giving off a radiation, it's a magnetic pull, certain metals have a stronger magnetic pull than other metals. This is the narrative. You guys can take it apart if you want to. And it pulls. So as you're walking around, this area has more nickel, and this place has more iron, and this place has this metal, more silica. So the heavier iron place has got the most pull, and the nickel has the next form of gravity, and then you've got the silica, which has very little, but with normal gravity, we're going to call it. But take it with a grain of salt on that. But Eric, the concept of the water.
Well, I think just cracked the code, because earlier in the chats a while back, Bob, somebody mentioned the brown note, which in the weapon of making everybody take a crap in their pants. So if everybody takes a crap in their pants, and somebody mentioned here about what is it about the triangles, gas, about farting and stuff. So I guess us humans with that weapon is causing the gas getting in the air.
Remember, it's on the Pacific Rim. It's on the Ring of Fire. It's on the Japan is on the Ring of Fire. So the triangle goes right across the Ring of Fire. So you've got all kinds of volcanic anomaly. Like you're talking about the oxygen levels are changing. It's also heavy basalt. Basalt is high iron.
Well,
so you got
Bob, right here. Number 16 is about gas. Right here. Number 16. Methane gas.
That's balls. That's awesome. Good call. Yeah.
Methane gas could cause volatile underwater activity. So let's see what it says here. There are plenty of occurrences that happen under the ocean surface that may not necessarily be aware of until it's too late. Methane gas forms in large quantities on the seabed, referred to as methane hydrates. When these crystal-like structures eventually explode and are released, they float to the top as bubbles and sit on the surface. This caused changes it causes changes as known to sink the ship without leaving a trace of evidence. Imagine blowing bubbles through a straw into a glass of water. This is the effect methane has on the surface. So basically, methane gas comes up as bubbles. A boat goes across the bubbles, sinks it.
Yeah, I've seen the experiment. I've seen them do the experiment. It's freaky, man. Hell, the gas comes up in a huge basically the earth farts, methane, and then there's no buoyancy. And the goddamn boat will just sink to the bottom, and then the water comes right back over again. Like, oh no.
Torres wrote, according to the mainstream, more volcanoes in the ocean than on land. Paul mentioned that earlier, that a lot of people don't realize all the volcanoes that are actually in the ocean versus on land, because all we see on the news is land volcanoes. But there's more volcanoes in the oceans versus land.
Yeah, the land volcanoes are silica volcanoes, which is why you have that weird shape like this, which I have a whole different theory. I can't wait to tell Paul about. You're gonna love this one. Anyway, but the other ones are hotspot volcanoes, which are high iron, and they're flat. They're the ones like Hawaii and the islands out in the atolls and shit like that. They go, and that's why you got your basalt, heavy ass black rock at the bottom. It's all volcanic, heavy materials. Heavy.
That's why it's a hard theory for me to swallow. I know I'm not calling anybody out, but we have a good friend on the channel that believes all volcanoes are actually fake. But in my mind, I'm thinking that'd be one hell of a trick to fake all volcanoes, even in the underground ocean water. So that's I'm not saying if you believe in that theory that volcanoes are fakes, good for you. I think they're real because there's just too many goddamn volcanoes to try to fake.
He might have something. I got to run this across Paul. I don't almost want to say it first because I want to see what he thinks before I say something silly. But Paul's on here. Fuck it, I'm gonna throw it out there. Okay, this is gonna be stupid. This is 99.9% no. And Paul, please debunk this because I gotta get it out of my head. Okay, now, I've looked at the structures of pyramids. I love pyramids. You look at the diagram of the inside of a pyramid. It has a certain shaft and a little side shaft or whatever. And I took paleoclimatology. I've studied all these volcanoes. And you look at the center of volcanoes where they think they look like, you have the same structure. You have the same structure. One of my wackiest theories was that pyramids are actually they're terraforming. They're making volcanoes. And to make volcanoes, you're making rock, you're making gas. It's a lot of power. It's like having a nuclear power plant. You can supply everybody with a volcano. So volcanoes were actually originally on land. This is where Paul has to object to it. They built these pyramids, and then from the pyramids, they have a certain vibration or whatever you have to bring up magma. As magma comes up and through it, it develops over time. It develops on the outside. It creates the volcano, and what's the center skeleton of the volcano is actually a pyramid. Again, I'm probably not right with this, but it would make sense. He would build pyramids to terraform land volcanoes. They're making volcanoes on land on purpose because they're a great source of energy. They're a great source. You can power fucking tons of shit electricity-wise with volcanoes. But to get a volcano, they have to make a volcano, and they're making these pyramids that were made originally to terraform the land with, to make volcanoes with, to form certain things with. And also, agriculture is great for a lot of things. To terraform natural volcanoes on land, not the ones like you guys talk about in the ocean that are natural from the earth itself. But to make an artificial volcano, you need to make a pyramid, which is technically terraforming on land. Does that sound plausible, Paul? Or is that just wacky?
You're asking the guy who comes out with the most weirdest theories on the internet, you know what I mean? So I always say to everyone, don't knock anything, because is it Iceland? They use the thermal power for all the countries' free energy. Basically, that's off the not an actual volcano as such, but it's still off the same principle of the hot steam and water and all the stuff from the like a volcano. So they're actually doing it, and they've been doing it for years. So there's no reason why. I mean, a lot of people don't even know what pyramids are for. You're talking about things like Stargate, where the thingies were coming over the top of it. You just don't know what it's for. I mean, we all have theories for what actually pyramids, volcanoes are. I mean, mine is even wilder than yours. So I'm not going to say, oh, do you know what I mean? Your theory is as good as anyone. I mean, the one I'm talking about could be slightly help yours. I don't know if you guys have you ever heard of sand volcanoes?
No, fill me in, dude, because this might help mine out.
Well, if you search engine type sand volcanoes in, it's what is a result of liquefaction.
Okay, the liquefaction.
So frequency hits the land, and it creates, and they're identical to volcanoes. So people are talking about a giant flood happening in the past. People are talking huge earthquakes, and talking about liquefaction. Well, if you type in sand volcanoes, they'll show you the image, and they're identical to what a volcano looks like.
Are you saying sand or sand?
Sand, S-A-N-D.
Sand. Okay, sand. Okay.
Sand.
See, because
sand volcanoes in, you will see they're identical, honestly, on a different type of level. So if the Earth, they're easily made. So if people are controlling and making sand volcanoes, and as you can see, they look like a volcano, but on a miniature. So if you change the frequency and the whatever's erupting from below, you will actually create a volcano. You can see even the water's trickling down because water comes out and it shoots out.
See, that's the same principle. It's a natural volcano. The reason why people are saying, well, what about the pyramids? I go, the Egyptian pyramids are failed terraformed volcanoes. They didn't work. They just didn't work yet. That's why you're not seeing a volcano, because if you go to all these other countries and they say that mountain looks like a volcano or looks like a pyramid, but it's got rock on it. I said, well, because inside of it is at one time was a pyramid that was a terraformer. It terraformed. It created on land with high silica a volcano.
Yeah.
And so
Pyramid triangle.
It's the same thing with the principle. This is a natural one, like you would see at the ocean. It's a natural forming one. It's did it itself. What I'm saying is the same thing. It's the same principle. They put this pyramid there. They've handmade this pyramid, just like, but this one's not handmade. It puts off a vibration, which builds up the material on the outside. It builds up a volcano. Thank you, Paul. Exactly what this is doing on its own, but without the skeleton. It's doing it.
Eric mentioned earthquakes and seismic activity before. We talk about whether you believe it or not. Tesla actually said he designed an earthquake machine. So if he's designed an earthquake machine to create seismic activity, it can cause liquefaction, it can cause eruptions, it can cause this type of things happening in the triangles.
Yes, and it's plausible because Mythbusters, one of my favorite shows. You seen the Mythbusters episode where they used the machine and they?
I don't think I have that one.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch Mythbusters. They took Tesla's technology. It's a small device. They put it onto it, and it was gonna be debunked. But then at the end of the episode, they both stopped, got into a panic. They had a glass of water, and they noticed the water was going like this. They checked the weather. They realized that it was working. It became plausible. It was moving. It was on a bridge. It was on the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. The Golden Gate Bridge was starting to sway. The Mythbusters had to shut off Tesla's little machine. It was working.
Really? I've never seen that one.
Oh, you guys, it's on Mythbusters. It's exactly what Paul said. They made it to see if it was plausible. They put it on the Golden Gate Bridge. Look it
I
up.
wonder what episode that is, because on Discovery Plus they have every single season on there.
You can just type in Mythbusters, Tesla's earthquake machine,
True.
and Golden Gate Bridge, and it will pop up. And they did it, and it was starting. It was they were getting so nervous they had to shut down the experiment because it was appearing to be plausible. It was rocking the bridge. And they were like, we can't keep doing this. They actually on camera, we can't keep doing this because we could potentially be damaging the bridge.
That's interesting. I'll have to check that one out. Oh, Johnny G says, I saw that one. So, yeah.
It's the same concept of the sand volcano. And then the same concept I'm talking about with the brick volcano, which is a terraformer to create a volcano artificially for the energy. Paul's talking about is doing it naturally, like its own little vibration. It's making itself. Mine is artificially with a pyramid, and then it does the same thing, and it builds up on the outside. Because you see these mountains, they say that looks like a volcano. I mean, it looks like used to be a volcano, but it looks like a pyramid at one point.
And how many pyramids have you got like overgrown all around the world?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
inside of it, way down below, deep inside of it, at one time could have been a man-made pyramid.
I want to go in a minute, obviously, because I was just filling in for the big beard. But do you guys remember Total Recall? That was a pyramid, wasn't it? In the original one, and it was terraforming, doing the oxygen.
Yes, I think it was. It was
the last one, wasn't it?
Yes, I think it was. And they had these big, huge rods under the Total. Yeah, with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
it was releasing. I think it was vibrating. It was going to release. Goes under the ice cap, and it was supposed to melt the ice cap to create oxygen. It was going to release oxygen. You said like a volcano, which would release oxygen. It would melt the water, which is frozen oxygen. I think I don't know if they had it, but yeah, same thing. Exactly.
Because if these places are on ley lines or valve vortices, and you're releasing energy, you were going to affect water nearby or anything. Because you know what I mean. Is it done intentionally? Highly possible if there's advanced cultures, technology.
Yes, because they set up north to south. They're actually set up like you said on the ley lines. Correct. They're on the ley lines, which are mathematical and which are goes with the whatever the land. Yeah. The ley lines, which also causes energy to go into them. Also, there's always water underneath. It has to be deep below, which causes the rumble, which causes the vibration, which causes the theory of the sand volcano. But this is artificially done with the pyramid, which creates the mountain, which eventually brings up energy.
This is what happens when you get me and you together. And he's like, "No, go on, get on." Go, guys. I was busy, and I don't like seeing Eric on his own, so I jumped into carrying. He had a voodoo doll of you, by the way. You were the best. Get rid of it.
Yeah, it's freaky. I thank you for telling him to get rid of that thing. I don't want that. You know what? It's funny though, dude. Eric don't understand how magic works. He was trying to spell cast me with it, but it went back and hit him. Eric, how long were you sick? How many days?
About 6-7 days.
Was that last week when you were ill?
A couple weeks ago.
when he was playing with the doll.
Right.
Never know.
I'll probably be
Never
watching
know.
it in a minute, but like I said, I've got a few things to do, and like I said, I'm just filling in for when he come back.
Yeah.
So have a carry on a good show. Goodbye to the people in the chat. I'll see you in a minute. All right, guys. Take care.
And guys, check out his channel. He's got a great channel. He got a lot of great different topics. Like I said, I mean, you see it right here. A lot of great topics.
Oh, there's so much on there. You'll think I'm crazy, but you know you should enjoy it.
Yeah, but we're all crazy.
Yeah, we're the good crazy. Bye, guys.
See you later. We're all nuts in a certain way. Well, let's check out this number 15 here. Number 15 here. This one says Japan has lost plenty of their own ships to this area in particular. So they lost a lot of ships. I mean, every triangle, you know, that's one of the reasons why they call it a triangle, right? Everybody's losing ships. In the 1940s through the 1950s, Japan launched several ships, and they plotted a course through the Dragon's Triangle. These ships never returned to Japan and has simply vanished without a trace. These ships were lost along with fishing boats and eventually prompted the investigation by KO Maru number 5, which we already known never returned and had joined the fate of the other ships. This was enormous loss to Japan, and it would eventually be the last effort to put forth to discovery what really happened. Now, I don't know these numbers. I don't know the numbers, people. Maybe somebody in the chat can type in something for us. I'm curious, how many ships? Because the Bermuda Triangle, we hear about all these ships during World War II and all this era. Yeah. Are there more ships lost in the 40s and 50s or 60s, you can say, in that time period versus 00 to 2021? Yeah. Are there more ships lost? I'm curious about this number because if there's more ships lost during those times, could we say that those ships are built shittier versus the ships that are built now?
Well, I have a theory. It's a different alternative theory again. Now, I know this theory has it's high plausible. I'm going to say, and Eric, you're going to probably want to agree with me on this one. No one talks about this part. Now, when I was in Japan, I was stationed there. And Japan is famous for one big fucking thing that everybody hates, and they always pretend to be research vessels or they're fishermen vessels. But Eric, you know what they're out there fishing for, right?
Fish?
Bigger than a bigger.
Loch Ness Monster, dragons?
No, bigger. It's nothing mythical.
Godzilla?
No. It starts with a W. It's where cows came from. Or what cows evolve into.
Oh, whales.
Yes. They hunt whale. They fucking hunt whale. Japan hunts whale, people. They are whale hunters. And even though you've had multiple Greenpeace and you've had multiple people try to shut them down, their ships always tend to mysteriously disappear, sink, blow up, have problems, all kinds of shit because they're whale hunters. They still hunt whale, dude. Now, again, I'm not saying it's all of them, but I'm going to guarantee you that some of them fucking ships that didn't come back, or a little bit of terrorisms were on it. They have a lot of Greenpeace people out there patrolling around. They even had a TV series of Greenpeace that went after the Japanese. They always go after the Japanese whaling ships. They don't call them that. They call them research vessels, fishing boats, anything but whales, because they hunt whale. And people don't, no one's going to admit that they sunk a fucking Japanese whaling ship. I guarantee you that a couple of them got sunk or blew the fuck up. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. I mean, I'm not saying it's every one of them. I'm saying there's a percentage of them. I guarantee you, it's from them whaling ships that come back. They're talking about.
I'll tell you what. There's a list of all the battleships that have been sunk, and what I'm learning here is never go on a battleship with a state name on it. Look at it. 1948, U.S. Nevada sunk. USS New York sunk. Pennsylvania sunk. And then a next American ship, Arkansas. So if you're going on a battleship with U.S. state name on it, don't go on it. You're going to be sunk. Look, USS Virginia, New Jersey, Iowa. Well, Bob, are all the battleships named after a state?
Yeah. Remember, you're Coast Guard. You don't know. Yeah, they're all named after a state. I was on the USS Blue Ridge.
Blue Ridge is not named after a state.
Well, it's a set of mountains. So the Blue Ridge LCC 19, which had its own unique name. But yeah, mostly they're named after states. They're all states. They're all states. Yeah.
And it seems like all the battleships, it ends at 1948. I don't know why. I guess since 1948 we haven't lost another battleship.
Yeah. We that was during the Japanese campaign. That was the Japanese theater, World War II Japanese theater. So a lot of ships. The kamikazes were pretty bad. Yeah, and Midway, you had Midway out there. So yeah, there was a lot of battles with the Japanese on them ships. Remember the Germans were famous for their U-boats and their submarines. They were bad about submarines, boy. Japanese were bad about the kamikazes, and they were just pretty badass on their ships. But we won the war. It's all that fucking matters.
That's all that matters. Well, here, number 14. Japan's government deemed the area unsafe. Well, first, okay, hold on. After the decade of lost ships, the disappearance of Keio Maru number 5 crew was the last straw for Japan. They decided that no more lives would be lost in an effort to investigate this unexplained string of events and deemed the area completely unsafe. They also said it was too dangerous for transport as well as selling and efficient ended up all their efforts to explore the area. Any investigations that were still open were immediately closed. Their work halted to prevent any other ships from falling to the same fate. Well, first of all, listen, people. The human beings, we're designed as of right now. We don't have fins in our ears. We're not fish. We're designed to be on land. Okay, period. Now, once you go out to the ocean, well, yeah, it could technically be unsafe. I mean, technically, we're not safe even on land, but if you're on the ocean that we can't breathe underwater, yes, it's unsafe.
Yeah, I've been on a ship. I know because I was stationed in Japan. I know about them waters, Eric. Them waters are fucking choppy. Choppy ass fucking waters, man. I was in Typhoon Ed out there. Boy, it's fucking choppy. Japan's no joke. Yeah. And their weather fluctuates, man. They've got typhoons all the time. Their weather changes on a dime all over Asia. We went to Hong Kong. That shit poured down. It's just crazy over there. It's the tropics.
No, right? I mean, it's just kind of. I mean, any government would say, yeah, anywhere on the ocean could be unsafe. I mean, that's just a fact. It doesn't even matter if there's a triangle power there or not. Any part of an ocean could be considered unsafe. So that is not a far stretch, okay? I'm just saying.
And the reason why I know so much about the whaling ships, because guys, I was stationed on a ship in Japan. I was stationed on a ship in Japan, and we knew about them fucking whaling ships out there. They weren't popular with people. I understand that. A lot of people hated them.
Here we go. This is the interesting stuff right here. Electromagnetic pull is stronger in areas such as these. Well, I mean, Paul kind of mentioned it earlier in the show and all that. There is magnetic in certain parts of the ocean more than others. So, I mean, that's not a far stretch, but like we already talked about it earlier, that electricity is the number one thing of power, life, death. Electricity is it. And well, hear what it says here. Over 700 people have lost their lives or gone missing because of the Dragon's Triangle. And it seems that we're much closer to solving this mystery than we were decades ago. The area, along with others, 11 vortex found around the world, has been noted as having much stronger pull than the rest of the world's ocean. This is due to the electronic magnetic current, but also attributed to the fact that the area is a volcanic hot spot. The combination of fierce currents and volcanic activity causing similar reactions, including earthquakes, and make it nightmare for seafarers. Now, guys, earlier in the show, Bob wasn't on, where Paul brought out his electrocurrent little machine that, you know, that tells you the electric current around it, where he shows that when you take this device and move it closer to the computer, the electric current goes up. If this area has more volcanoes versus any other area in the ocean, you're going to get more electromagnetic, and that could cause your your devices to go crazy, your compass to go off the rocker. And of course, we all know during the years the technology gets better and better to learn more of these phenomenons. Now, I'm not saying they're not real. There's something to these triangles because there's still a magnetic pull versus other areas of the ocean. And it is proven that it's a fact. There's more volcanoes in these areas too.
Also, if you have an area that has more magnetism to it, and you have a lunar the sun sends out. I'm going to use layman's terms. The sun sends out pulses sometimes. Everyone knows about the sunspots, and it sends out pulses. The sun's not real. I know that. Whatever you want to say, it don't matter. It still sends out pulses, regardless if it's real or not. Flat earthers. I'm just saying it, but cover everybody. But it sends out these pulses, and if it sends out a large pulse, and you have an area like the triangle that receives more magnetic, that means them pulses go there more. Understand that?
Yeah.
If it's more magnetic in spots, when that pulse comes, that wave comes from the sun, it's going to go to that area more. So it's going to hit that spot, and that causes a lot of weird shit.
Well, remember, in the movie 2012, the movie was based on the sun had explosions and radiation and stuff hit Earth and caused it to fuck up. I mean, that's a theory that's could explain a lot of stuff with explosions.
Yes, and it was microwaving the Earth, and the Earth has been getting
power and electro are going to win. Chasing the Truth says a new type of neutrino. Yeah. There
you go. Yeah. And we're getting those. It's like, these pulsars or whatever you want to call. I don't know. I always try to round everybody up together. Something is sending down particles. Understand that. Positives, particles, negatives, and positive particles from the upper spheres, whatever you guys want to call it. It's sending it down, not only from the sun, but from other areas. It's up to you where that area comes from. Is it coming from an exploding star? No. And then is it coming from extraterrestrials? I don't know. Is it coming from the Matrix?
Read that. Paul, that was just on our channel. I've caught a solar flare on camera.
Thank you, fucking solar Paul, man.
They're powerful.
He and I are brothers from a different mother. Yes, he knows about the solar flares. Yes, exactly that. They're sitting down these particles, and not all of them are positive. Some of them are a negative. In other words, it's antimatter. You understand? Antimatter. You have positives, positive, and then a few zeros hit here and there. Now, negative matter. Negative matter hits the Earth in certain areas. It can cause problems. Negative matter. So I hope I'm not going over everyone's head because we're using simple talk.
I haven't finished this movie. I was watching it last night. I was actually enjoying it. It's on Star. It's called Love and Monsters.
Ooh.
And I was enjoying it because the theory in this movie, I haven't finished it yet, but the theory in this movie is there was a meteorite coming to Earth, right? And the government did the nuclear stuff, and they blew up the meteorite, but the meteorite elements sprinkled down to the Earth.
Yes.
And the radiation of the meteorite, I don't know if it's the combination with the nuclear bomb or not, got into the insects and the animals, and they start to form and change. I'm like, that's a cool theory. I like that.
We don't know. We don't know what's in all the material that comes from the upper spheres. I just use those terms. We don't know if it's radioactive. Like as simple as finding plutonium in the ground here, you could have a flying rock of plutonium up there. It could break apart and send radiation everywhere.
I like our people in the chat. The upper sphere could be firmament or beyond.
Yes,
yep.
that's why
satellite with HAARP.
Yeah.
Yep. The moon gives off a cold light. Yep.
Okay.
Good film, that Eric. Good film, that Eric.
I use language that incorporates the flat earthers, the round earthers, the matrix earthers, the everybody earthers, the free thinkers. I try to use when I say upper spheres. You guys use your own imagination from there forward.
Yeah.
I don't know what can't become.
Let's go to number 12. Number 12, an underwater dragon is a popular legendary explanation. You may have been wondering where the Dragon's Triangle got its name. Well, it's Japan. They like dragons, okay? A name that is due to the Chinese origin of the stories that go with it. In 1000 BC, and the years following, ancient people believed that dragons and sea serpents were very real. These local legends eventually evolved into explanations for the fire they witnessed coming out of the ocean, which was more likely a volcano in the process of erupting. However, although it would seem violent from those witnessing it from above, it has nothing to do with an ancient monster. Well, listen. First of all, if there's any kind of creatures, if we believe that do exist, there's nothing saying that a certain creature could not be a dragon. Fucking a Loch Ness monster could technically be a dragon, unless you got them out front. I mean, any kind of a creature. We don't know if there's a creature that's not a typical animal that's on this planet. Could be some kind of a dragon in a name in a weird way.
Yeah, well, if Connor was here, he would be like, hell yes, there were dragons.
Well, Connor wrote, thunder is lightning vibrating off the firmament.
Yeah, I already shouted out Connor. Bigfoot or not. Yeah, Connor would already say, yes, hell yes, there were dragons, and there still are dragons. Why not? I'm not from here. I'm from fucking Sagittarius. So why not in this place would there not be dragons? I don't know. There seems to be some evidence to support it.
Yeah.
Why not?
There's parts of the ocean that we can't get to, or because the pressure crushes us, so we don't know what's down there. Now, here's a good one. This one, there's even a movie called The Abyss. Additionally, E.T. life has also been suggested, where basically extraterrestrial life is underwater. We've talked about that before on this channel. Yeah. Conspiracy theories will always be around to explain things that scientists can't immediately explain. Although we have legitimate and well-researched reasons for the phenomenon that occur in the Devil's Sea, there are those who always believe there's something more to it. Extraterrestrial life is yet another explanation that people turn in order to explain mysterious disappearance and missing ships. Some believe this is an alien life staking its claim, or that area in particular functions as some of the hidden grounds. I mean, first of all, unless we could go to every single part of the ocean, which we can't technically say what's down there. We just can't.
Could be portal, could be time portals, it could be time travel. Guys, it could be interdimensional travel. It could be as simple as you just pop it into one dimension into another dimension. We don't know. You can't just because if you can't see it and measure it, you don't know what's there. You know something's going on because you are measuring it when all your magnetic compasses and your gyro compass and everything's doing a spin, and you don't know what energy source is doing it. And then you have these planes disappear, and they're doing sonar, and they're not in the water. They can't find them. Yeah, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack, they say. Yeah, it is. But we don't know where they're going.
No. And what is this? Have you seen the strobe lighting videos from the 40 and 50 Diglet? No, I haven't.
No.
I saw light coming out of the ground before an earthquake.
Yeah, the plasma.
That's interesting. Lightning occurs from the ground. That is 100% true. Lightning comes from the ground.
Not anymore. Not anymore, from what I understand. Yeah, that's how I always learned it. That's how I learned it in university. That's how I've always known it too. But apparently, according to this place we're at, it comes from the top down. I'm like, no, it comes from the ground up.
Below and above as the crystals and what focuses
from the top down now.
Cause a physiologic effect. Hold on, he's got a lightning video. Okay, hold on. Let me click on that.
Yeah. I'm with you. It's the ground up. It's the ground up. I'm being told by people of the Mandela effect community that it's now from the sky down. I go, huh? I don't know this. Wait a minute. No, it's from the ground up. No, they say it's from the ground down and it goes to the side. I go, oh, really now? Because sideways lightning now, okay? And then it comes down
in the nighttime skies that people are seeing that have been occurring in the 40 to 45 degree north latitude. So we're going to come back and take a look at that theory here briefly in just a moment. But first, here at the website, large ones that could have possibly shown up over here on these seismographs. So more than likely, these red vertical lines, which are earthquakes, and
there's a lot of earthquakes.
Killers that we've been seeing in the nighttime sky.
Well, I don't want to take a chance and show a lot of this video because some people.
Yeah, I love his channel. We just don't know him though. We don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that video link.
Great show.
I mean, he did it too, but I'm gonna put in a link because I know some. If it's by, let me see here. If it's done by a major user, sometimes they'll make it where only they can watch it. But here, let me skip some things to see, because looks like he's got a lot of stuff on this.
Yeah, I love his channel. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, I know what channel he is. Yeah, I just don't know if he allows people to play his stuff or not.
That's the one with it has a red and a green lightning flash. Is that the one with the red and green lightning? The horizon glows red. Yeah, there's green and red. That is freaky. I've never seen it
more
like that.
Bluish green. You're going to see some here in a moment that look just like auroras. You would think you were up in Alaska. Did you see that? That's unedited. That's exactly the way I received this video footage. That looks like aurora. Look at that.
It's interesting stuff. And then here.
Very intense skies. Once again, from Ohio in the 40 to 45 degree north latitude. So maybe it's just a coincidence, but that does kind of align with the Birkeland curve.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's supposed to be the magnetic sphere, and then supposed to be the waves coming from the sun and hitting the earth and then bouncing all across the magnetic sphere. It's supposed to be protecting our ozone, protecting us from, or as the flat earthers say, the clear one, it's the dome, the firmament, or the matrix people. It's magic. It's just the computer hologram. But anyway, it's all the above. All literally, no pun intended, all of the above.
I'm actually sending that guy a message asking if I can use this video one day for a show. We can dissect it all. You know, usually when they give you permission, then you got nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
But there is some people that won't let you touch their stuff.
High rollers. They're high rollers.
The high rollers, yeah, the high.
Sixes and sevens.
Now, number 10. Some believe that the Dragon's Triangle is home to the lost city of Atlantis. Maybe. I know we did a show on the lost city of Atlantis with Connor. I mean, but
that one I don't have an opinion on. I don't know. I won't think it'd be in Japan, but
the sun influences our weather far more than Emerson will ever admit to.
Oh God!
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, we just talk about the flares and stuff. Yeah, I mean.
Oh yeah, the sun flares are. Yeah. I don't even think the instruments are catching all of it. I have been.
Yes, it is. It is in BBB 333 that we just played.
I like the channel. I recommend him. He's a good channel. He got some really good weather stuff. He does his best to debunk and be honest as he can. So I like the guy. He's not just giving you this is what it is. It's magic,
Yeah, I'm not gonna read the Atlantis because that could be a possibility. Here we go. Number 9. The weather has been responsible for a number of sunken ships. Well, I'm not even going to read that one. I mean, that's common sense. I mean, we know 80% of all missing ships are due to weather. I mean, that's, it could be one or two are from a dragon, maybe, but we know most of it is from weather. But the weather could be from like magnetic energy, flares. I mean, so yeah. Bob, you've been out. You're fucking in the Navy, the Blue Ridge. You guys went all over the ocean, but weather can fuck you up.
It's some rough ass waves out there, man. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm not taking that off the table at all. We almost sunk.
I'm on the camp that so-called Atlantis is the Western Hemisphere. The evidence is everywhere. Yeah, could be.
Okay.
Flares equal earthquakes.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. People don't realize the power of energy that the sun flares can cause.
Yeah, and also for you guys that are more into the I'd say more into the spiritual side, we'll go ahead and say that Thor might be pounding his anvil with his hammer, causing these things to happen. And then other people say, well, then it's God doing it, okay? And then other people might say it's another whatever pantheon God doing it, but we'll include that too.
Hey, Bob.
Yes.
See if you can answer this question. Uncle Bones wrote, it's a good question. Yeah. When lightning strikes the water, why are there not many electrocuted fish? I think the ocean's too damn big to see.
Well, it dissipates until it just dissipates. It dissipates. It's like depending on how much salt you have in the water. Also, it's obviously salt water, but in other words, if lightning hit the Mediterranean water and you were swimming there, but it doesn't normally hit water. I don't see it hit the water. Whatever. It's usually coming off a rod. Now again, to me, it's always come from the ground up. So I don't know how it would work in water. But in this place, I don't know what the fuck's going on because I see that shit sideways over water now. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I would like to be honest and answer that question with 100% clarity. I can't.
Now this number 8, to me, is fucking stupid. Deep sea fishing is dangerous to begin with, adding to the hype. Well, no fucking duh. I mean, your ocean. We've gone ocean fishing, of course, but we all know you go ocean fishing, you're gonna be in the elements of the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean that's.
You're whale hunting and you're trying to bring on whales. You might have problems.
Now, here we go. I like this one. Number 7. The official location has never been outlined on any world map. They're talking about like the Dragon's Triangle. It's I mean the official location of all the phenomenons. I mean, well, yeah. I mean it's It's impossible to draw a perfect line. A triangle just makes it look more beautiful, easy.
Been through that area hundreds of times on a ship. Massive storms. That's all I could say about that. Massive fucking storms out there. Choppy as shit. Yeah. That's all I can say about that.
Here we go.
Oh, what
Number
is that?
6. Its fame came from Kublai Khan.
What statue is this?
Who's here? Although the folklore of the dragons and mythical sea creatures were popular long before the leaders of the Mongolian Empire took a crack at selling these waters, it was Kublai Khan who earned a legitimate reason for the ship disappearance. In 1274 and 1281 AD, both he and his grandson, Genghis Khan, had attempted to send ships over to Japan. They were to cross through the waters marked as the Dragon's Triangle, and almost as if fate has stepped in. The ships never made it. These was due to massive typhoons and sunk and soiled their efforts. Well, the truth of the matter is they probably made shitty ships.
Yeah, they were going to invade Japan. It was going to be a Mongol raid to Japan. And according to the mythos of Japan, is they all went to pray. They all prayed to the pantheon of Japanese gods, Shindo. They prayed to their Shindo gods, and the female god of Japan it summoned the storm that came and sunk the ships. Yes, famous. I can't remember her name. Is a famous god, the Shindo god.
I wonder if an alien underwater base might be in a triangle. Oh yeah, that was one of the numbers about extraterrestrial life being in the ocean, and that, I mean, if there is one, why can't one be at the Devil's Triangle? Maybe there's one at the Dragon's Triangle. One could be at Bermuda Triangle. I mean, we don't know.
Well, imagine a very large ship underwater that's able to move as fast as it can in the air, going from the bottom straight to the top in a blink of an eye, straight through the water, and you happen to be a boat sitting up on top when it come out of the water. Oh, you're gonna sink. Straight to the top.
This is interesting. It says research on the area was halted in the 1950s. That's I'll find out why. In conjunction with centuries of tales and heartaches that spawned from the Devil's Sea and its victims, Japan decided in 1952 that nothing was worth risking more lives. With the disappearance of their lone research ships and its crew, 31 members, it will be the last straw for the government. All research was immediately ended, and investigations that were currently open were closed. There will be no more investigations, no more research in the following years to come. Well, I mean, when you do research, it costs money. To have people, it costs money. And if you're losing ships, that costs money. So money is the reason for a lot of things getting shut down.
I'm just always skeptical. I mean, guys, I'm not putting down Japan. I lived there for a while. They're good people. Got nothing against any of the. I love the culture. But they do like to go whaling, and so they were calling them research ships. And I was in the Navy, and I was like, those aren't research ships; those are whaling ships. So them ships getting attacked and disappearing. I'm just saying, guys.
I know. Well, let's do number 4.
Research ships.
Right. Number 4, part of the triangle sits in the Philippines. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see. While the Dragon's Triangle does get its fame from neighboring country Japan, it should be noted that parts of it does graze the Philippines. The lower corner just barely make it to the land, and the triangle as a whole takes up rather large portion of the Philippine Sea. It also falls within close relations to Guam, making this fairly well-traveled. It's not the most practical place for unpredictable patch of ocean water to be, but there's nonetheless. Well, I mean, technically, if you're going to draw a triangle, you could draw it to whatever parts of the country is near that area. I mean, really think about it.
Yeah, I've been to the Philippines. Wonderful place. Wonderful place. I love the Philippines.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that. Great place.
Let's go to number 3 because we're getting closer to the end. New island appear and disappear all at the same time. Oh, okay. Let's check this one out. New island appear and disappear all at the same time. Due to volcanic activity, with the triangle being in such close proximity into Iwo Jima, this caused tectonic plate movements. Everything on the sea floor is intertwined, which explains why new land masses pop up and constantly disappear. This has nothing to do with folklore or legend, as many people believe. As one plate shifts, land can either be moved up or down, causing some seafloors to rise in elevation and simply disappear. The triangles being so close in the promising. So basically, the templates move, so a piece of land can appear, and when the templates move again, it's gone as fast as it appears.
Well, yeah, they've got a subduction zone, like Washington, Eric, where you're at. There's a subduction zone. Basically, you've got one landmass going down into the ground and another one rising up because it's underneath it. It's like this. Here's your surface, and it's hitting it, and it's going down. As this one goes down, it pushes this one up. It depends. Now, they have a massive earthquake. You could turn around and it'd be a fucking island sitting there. Huh? Or it could be an entire landmass down in the water. Huh? Also causes tidal waves. What do you think that Fukushima, that big old problem they had with the nuclear facilities that fucking had that? Yeah, they're on a fault, man, and it ain't no joke. These guys are living on a fault.
Yeah,
dangerous place to live.
Let's take out number 2. The lone sailor of the 1800s is still a mystery. Okay. There's a mystery that's still unsolved to this day and has too many witnesses to discount it as being made up. In the early 1800s, the story goes that people witnessed an unusual sea vessel being sailed by an unknown woman. The shape of the ship is what caught so many off guard. It was reminiscent of the same shape of the box used to burn incense in. The strange shape and structure of the boat, combined with this unknown sailor, made for a story that's even told to this day. I don't even know what this fucking story is.
Yeah, there was a woman. So this is interesting. She was a, they described her, I'm going to say it, I'm not being racist, they described her as a white woman. Blonde hair, whatever, a white woman. She was in this weird, like a round box, kind of a weird round box. But anyway, a weird shaped box, round-ish, whatever. And that's how they draw it. And this fisherman brought her in, they opened it up, and there was a woman inside. And she was white. Could have come off a ship, could have been a stove. I mean, it's 1,000 things could have. A ship could have sunk, she jumped in it, put the trunk down, or some people they think that she was evidence of an extraterrestrial, that a ship had crashed and she survived, and she was one of the what they call Palladians. She was a tall white Palladian. She was supposed to be a big woman, white woman. That's the best way to describe her from their perspective. But what they would describe as like a Palladian, and she was on shore. Don't know much about what happened to her after she was there because she spoke a different language. She seemed to have a whole different mannerisms. She was completely freaky to them. Hell, they probably ate her. I don't know. Who knows what happened to that woman? But yeah, I heard that story. They've written her up, and they got pictures and all kinds of drawings of her.
Huh?
Straight, like she came from the sea. She came from the sea.
Well, let's see what number 1 is. Number 1, Amazonian woman. I'm giving to my nephew, their family do huge Halloween cheer. Okay, Let me see here. Number one, the reason for strange weather. Oh, let's hear an explanation for the strange weather. There are many different factors to play in when it comes to the specific location. Geographically, it's situated on the border of a trench that seemingly has no bottom and is unreachable by humans. It is also located near an area of high volcanic activity, which is known to cause unnatural thunderstorms and lightning activities. Additionally, methane bubbles from below ocean surface are frequently released into the air, causing an uneven, more unsteady atmosphere. Considerably of these things is unusual for any scenes. Well, first of all this number one is taking bits and pieces what's already been on the list.
Yeah.
We already talked about methane gas, volcanoes. So it just took bits and pieces of the whole thing. We know that. Ships go over these bubbles. It could cause it to sink. It could cause issues because, and you guys all saw the South Park episode, right? What happens if everybody starts farting? It changes the atmosphere. It starts changing. It starts to heat up the earth.
Yeah, well, they had a problem. They were talking about how the methane gas, the cows were farting and causing global warming. I'm like, okay. But then they also say that the dinosaurs were not killed by a meteor. They were killed by a global warming because they were all farting. And then it caused the global warming and the ice sheets to melt because they all farted. Which does make sense in the stupidest way. It does. Okay, methane gas release from all the dinosaur farts. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you guys religious, they were not allowed to get on the ark because they were too big. And then died in the flood. There you go. There you go. It was that. Covering everybody, Eric.
So overall, what's your opinion, Bob, of this Guardians of the Dragons triangle? Do you think it's just as paranormal as the Bermuda Triangle? Now, we said earlier in the show you were on that in America, Bermuda Triangle is off our land, so that's going to be the more popular one versus Dragons Triangle because that's off of Japan's area. And I'm sure Japan, the Dragons Triangle is probably more popular than the Bermuda Triangle. But what do you think of the triangle overall?
I have been all through that, and from what I've experienced firsthand is the storms are off the fucking chain there. If you have a smaller ship, it's gonna go down. It's bad. I mean, it's bad, dude. They get their typhoons every year. They get typhoons one after the other. I mean, you guys can look up Japanese typhoons. You're gonna see a list of them. Wow.
I'm sorry, but this is funny. I have an environmental degree and have studied a variety of other science. Farting causing global warming is nonsense. Listen,
I'm not making a joke about it. I know that's one of the things on the table. So I'm like, okay.
I was just joking. The South Park cartoon. It's a fun thing to think about.
You're laughing as much as I'm laughing, but this person that wrote it knows they've heard that put on the table. They probably laughed as much as I did. Yeah. I'm
sure farting is not causing a global warming. That's
accusing cows of where a problem with the cow. What do you want the cows to do? You want to I was thinking about, can we build a type of diaper that will harness their gas and then we can use it? yeah, he's heard it. So we can do that. I don't know.
Hey, the ass can cause a lot of things. Isn't there now young people are sticking things up their butts and pouring alcohol to get drunk faster?
No, they did that. The Aztecs did that. The Inca and the Aztecs did that. They actually did that. Learned that in archaeology. I was like, huh? They beer bonged in the rectum.
That's one of the reasons they are using. What is this? Farting cows is one of the reasons they are using to move doing test tubes ground meat.
You know, without it.
I love it. I love it. Fart is a
Everything's
powerful.
on the table. Everything stupid is on the table. That's why an individual was laughing, saying, I know everything stupid is on the table.
My jeans can't contain a fart, but a mask will protect me.
Exactly right. It's funny.
What is it? There are many legitimate environment issues that need resourcing being wasted on anthropology, global warming scam for money control. Oh, that's true.
It is that bad. Yeah.
There's no debate on that.
Stupid. It's stupid.
And is it there? Come on. I know everybody in the chat growing up, you had a party and you had that one guy who pulled his pants down and lit up, try to light their fart on fire.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has done that. Not that you have done that, but you've probably seen people that have done that and see if there's actually a flame.
Yeah,
and they ended up burning hairs on their asses.
Everyone's got a buddy that does that. That's actually kind of funny to see. But I thought you were going to say the depository beer bonging. I'm like, Yeah, Chaucer would be happy right now. If those of you guys that know Chaucer knows about all the fart jokes that Chaucer makes in all his books, and he's a famous writer. Don't be afraid of that.
Yeah.
Making fun of it, they're gonna laugh.
Yeah. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the Dragon's Triangle. I never even thought about a Dragon's Triangle, but there it is. It does exist. Now, guys, what I'm gonna do is yeah, I didn't make it clear last week, so it's my fault. Because of the schooling and all that, these shows are going to have to be 11 to 1 for me just because of the school. But Wednesday is open topic day where anybody could come on. Open topic, whatever. The subject is wide open. And then, let me see here. I knew a few times I clear a room without jokes. Clear rooms out. I saw it in college, and the dude burned off his ass hairs. See, I knew it. 5 triangles of uncanny happening. And guys, I actually have an article. I'll bring it up on Friday. Of 5, there's an article of all. There's actually 5 triangles that are not within the popular Bermuda, Dragons, Alaska. There's actually 5 other triangles that's around the world. We'll bring that up on Friday of all the other triangles, because there's a lot of triangles apparently on this planet that has strange things.
Triangles are always strange.
Yeah. Oh, well, they're interesting. I mean, they are interesting. And of course, with technology getting better and better, we're going to learn more. But even with technology, it also depends on what our governments are going to allow us to learn. If there are some things that we can't explain, they won't let that get out. It has to be leaked out.
Never let that get out. Secrets.
Yeah. So beyond that, guys, I think we hit our mark, and I want to thank everybody for showing up. And Paul, it's always a pleasure having Paul on. It's always fun having it's always fun having that, because I didn't know it, but Paul actually did a show 2 weeks ago, and part of the show was on the Dragon's Triangle. So it was kind of perfect.
Perfect, man. Hey, Mike.
Fart on my brothers and sisters. I think we're gonna have to end the show because I think too many farts about to come and hit. And I think we're about the cause of global warming, and then they're gonna investigate on where this global warming started from. It's gonna be right here where I'm at.
Chaucer was right.
They're gonna determine. So beyond that, guys, I want everybody to have a good day. We'll see everybody back on Wednesday.
Yes.